Hey, welcome to another episode of Real Conversations. We took a week off, but we're back. How you doing, Juana? How you doing, girl? What's going on?
Gosh, I'm amazing. That week off was really good. We took a week off to celebrate my daughter and for her graduation. So, it was much needed for sure. Doing a lot of things, but it definitely was much needed. You already know. I didn't get a lot of rest though because she had us going everywhere, but for the most part, I'm just happy that I was able to even get rest. So yeah.
You still look good, girl. You still look good. You don't
Thank
look like
you,
you didn't
thank
get no
you,
rest. You look like
thank
you're well rested.
Thank you, my love.
You're
Because
welcome.
those good genes that we have, because you already. Well, thank you all for bearing with us and just allowing us to take a week off. And, so we appreciate that. But today we are celebrating Juneteenth. And we're excited about it because, one, it's recognized as a federal holiday as of 2021, right?
Yes.
And it's just celebrating our past, well, celebrating the future really, and remembering the past. And it's something that we need to do as African Americans, or even as America as a whole, and understanding what Juneteenth is, how it was started, and why we need to celebrate it. And as a fellow Black woman, it really is important to me and, of course, my ancestors who fought and paved the way for me to be sitting here talking to you, for us to be sitting here talking to you, and in the freedom that we have, right, Nicole? So
Absolutely.
we're going to celebrate Juneteenth, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, talk about how it was started, who started it, and then we're going to go from there. So are we ready, Nicole?
Yes, we are.
All right, so Juneteenth actually was started by Opal Lee. She had a decades-long fight to have Juneteenth recognized as a national federal holiday. Okay, June 19th was the day that the Union soldiers arrived in the Confederate States to free us as slaves, and that is the reason why June 19th is the day that should be celebrated, right? Opal Lee, at the age of 89, she spearheaded a series of 2.5 mile walks from, I believe, Texas to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2.5 mile walk actually symbolized the 2.5 years it took for the news of the emancipation to reach Texas. Because remember, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, there were still some states, some Confederate states, that hadn't freed the slaves. It took 2.5 years for that news to reach Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So she took the 2.5 mile walk. I guess they were, like I said, from Texas to Washington D.C. She took a series of 2.5 mile walks from during that time, to symbolize the 2.5 years it took for Juneteenth, or for the news of the freedom of enslaved people to reach Texas. So that's really, really, really big. The Juneteenth National Independence Day Act in 2021, when she walked to Washington, D.C., she advocated for it to become a national holiday. And I believe President Biden is the one that actually recognized it first as a holiday. And it's just a wonderful thing because she actually was 89 when she did that 2.5 mile walk from Texas to Washington, D.C. So that's even more amazing that
is amazing.
89 years old, she was able to do that. I don't want to hear anybody talking about anything at 40. Listen, you can do it. If she was able to do it, it's just the passion. It was the drive behind it. And it was something that she stood behind because she really wanted it to come to pass before, of course, she left this earth. So I'm so grateful to her for actually committing to that and then going into Washington, D.C. to organize that campaign. She actually collected like 1.5 million signatures and brought those to Congress to recognize
Oh
Juneteenth
wow,
as a
that's awesome.
national holiday.
Yeah.
So we sit here grateful to her, grateful to our ancestors who fought for freedom for us, but also for those people who have taken that torch and ran with it to
Mm-hmm.
allow us to be able to, like I said, sit here today and with freedom of speech and freedom to do what it is that we want to do in this life. So thank you, Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth. Thank you to all of our ancestors, all the slaves that fought and went through that battle for us to be sitting here today. We commend you, we salute you, we thank you.
Absolutely.
Right? And from what I understand, Juneteenth is a national holiday, but there are, I think it's like statewide, like you can actually, there's some states that don't have to recognize it or something like that, Nicole, right?
So basically, Juneteenth is a federal holiday, but they gave other states the opportunity to basically, choose if they want to take it off or not, if they want to acknowledge it or not. And I think if it's a federal holiday, that means it should be nationwide. You know what I mean? Or within the United States.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What you think about that? I don't know. It is a federal holiday, and it should be upheld as a federal holiday everywhere.
I think so too, because I mean, all the banks are closed.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm off is because the stock market recognizes it as a federal holiday. And if they're not doing any trading, that means that everybody else should be off, like literally.
Right.
Because that is what the trading, trading on Wall Street is what makes America run, right? So if they're not trading today, why are you not recognizing this as a holiday? But
Right.
government workers are there. Are working. I believe that some places get floating holidays in regards to it. I know PA and the state of PA. Some places get floating holidays. I'm taking it. Thank you. Give me my floating holiday. But it definitely is something that should be recognized worldwide, countrywide, I should say, because we're talking the United States, countrywide, and giving these people their flowers, and understanding like this should be a federal holiday and the importance of it, because it really is important. And the fact that we're even sitting here having this conversation about whether or not it should be recognized is part of the problem, right? Like
Absolutely.
we shouldn't have to keep fighting for these rights that we already have.
It's already been put in place. Stop creating more chaos and conflict for those of
Exactly.
us who had to sit here and fight, or for our ancestors who had to sit here and fight to get us to where we are today.
Right. So just like us having this conversation is insane that they would even like we have how many 50 states, 51, 52, I don't know, like they keep adding.
They keep adding and subtracting.
Right. So it's like over 30 states and DC, because that's the District of Columbia, so it's really not a state. But so they recognize Juneteenth, and I'm praying that everything else, all the other states, get on board and recognize it as a national holiday, because we matter as African Americans, Black people in this country. We pay the way. A lot of these things were built on our backs. So recognize us, recognize our contribution to the history of the United States of America, and give us our flowers. Give us what we give our ancestors their flowers. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and just the fact that there were some Confederate states who 2.5 years later didn't even know that they were free. Those slaves they were free. Like, this is what this is about. When they came, when the Union finally got to Texas and said, "Hey, why are y'all still enslaved?"
There's a movie about that. It was set here in Georgia.
Yeah,
Obama was in it.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like, so recognize that y'all did us dirty. Okay, y'all did my ancestors dirty. Like, they didn't even know that they weren't enslaved anymore. They didn't even know. It took 2.5 years of additional hard labor and hard times for them to even recognize that they were actually free. Two and
Yeah.
a half years prior to that, no, recognize this and leave it as such, right, Nicole? That's how I feel. So again, oh my gosh, we just thank you all. Thank you so much. We celebrate our past. We celebrate what we came through, what our ancestors have fought for. We celebrate them. We salute them, and then we remember them. We don't forget them. Put them on your ofrenda. We celebrate them. We celebrate them. We celebrate the past. I mean, we remember the past, but we're also celebrating where we're going, and appreciating everything that has happened thus far, and appreciating all of our ancestors. So, thank you, ancestors, for fighting for us. Thank you, Opal Lee, for your tenacity, your commitment to ensuring that Juneteenth is recognized as a national federal holiday. We thank you. We're off work because of that. And I don't care if there's talks about taking it away or whatever else. I'm always going to take this day. I am always going to take June 19th off, and as a celebratory ode to my ancestors and to the future and to paving the way. So we're gonna continue fighting, right, as we have, and that's it. So again, thank you all. Thank you. So we're Juneteenth, Nicole. Okay, so in the last few segments, what did you do today?
Today, so I took my daughter to work.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Walmart to go grocery shopping. I went to get my nails done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. What did you do today?
Rested. Listen, I rested. This day is a day of rest, and I'm appreciating it. So I rested. I have some rehearsals later on, but for the most part, it really is like I'm taking this day and I'm gonna enjoy it, and just really a lot of it in the morning. I did reflect on certain things, and on who and what was instrumental in moving us forward as a people. I did take a little bit of time to reflect on that because I think that's what it's important to do that. So after that, it was just like, all right, I'm getting my little sleep on, and I'm happy that I was able to get the rest that I needed today, and I'm happy that you got all the stuff that you needed done because sometimes you don't get.
I don't get nothing. So, I mean, listen, guys, I was off for 2 days straight. Yesterday was my rest day. Today was the day to move for me because I couldn't get out the house yesterday.
Listen,
it was my first day off.
It was a day of self-care for you, even though you had to drop your daughter off, right? But it still was a day of self-care for you. And that's really important because that's what this is about, right? We our ancestors toiled and labored for so long, and it's like, and they couldn't have the opportunity to rest and take a day of self-care. So you know what? Hey, listen, that's exactly what you did. So kudos to you. All right. So listen, we got a great show lined up for you. That was our Juneteenth segment. We are going to talk about a lot of things that has happened over the past week or so in the media. So we're going to talk about that, and just stay tuned.
Okay, so has anyone ever heard of a lake called Lake? It's basically Lake Lanier in the state of Georgia. There have been a lot of tragic deaths at this lake, and it's a lot of people want to say that it's haunted. They have a whole town down there underneath the water. The town was called Oscarville. But here on the 14th, a young man at the age of 27, he was at Lake Lanier celebrating his birthday. And he jumped into the water, wanting to basically test out the water, right? Well, everyone knows anyone who's jumped in that water, a lot of people has lost their lives. It didn't matter if it was a boat accident, didn't matter if it was just like you falling in the water. A lot of people said that they felt people like literally pulling them down from the stories that we've heard.
Eek.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. So this young man, he jumped in the water and he lost his life. He never came back up. And I don't know. I don't know why people keep testing Lake Lanier. Okay, I've heard about the town, I've heard about the cemetery, I've heard about all these little different things. If you want to do your research about Lake Lanier, they have a whole documentary on Netflix that lets you
Mhm.
know what's going on over there. There's one survivor; she's actually on that documentary as well, and it's sad. The whole documentary is sad, and just check it out yourself. But let's just keep this young man's family in our prayers, because it's sad. Like no one should have to lose their family member just because they decided they just want to jump in the water. You know?
Yeah. So I mean, that very true. It's a tragic loss, just as the image says. It definitely was a tragic loss, and he was so young, 27 years old. Like
Hmm.
that is extremely young to lose your life off of something that if he was an avid swimmer, I mean, I don't know, but there has to be concern, some concern around it. I know that Lake Lanier is considered haunted because mainly because of the construction that the Army Corps, what is it, the Army Corps, they actually started to build things over the lake, and they built like by damming the Chattahoochee River, and that caused flooding into that town of Oscarville, right? And I believe that there were people that lost their lives in that town. So that means that, like, from what people say, is that the people are still underneath there, right?
Hmm.
Because the construction um, flooded Oscarville, and that was a town which was historically black, and
Yeah.
it was established in the early 1800s. And I believe that with the what do you call it? Oh my gosh, with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, that's what it's called. Yes, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They actually didn't start constructing that until the 1950s.
Hmm.
So I'm trying. So they saying that underneath that town, or underneath the river, those people are actually where it was flooded at. They're actually still there.
The town was in the 1950s.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the town was there in the 1950s, and basically there was a Caucasian woman who lied and said some African American man did something when it actually wasn't the African American man,
Mm.
and it was a flood of Caucasian individuals who went into the town with I believe is with the sheriff. I can't don't quote me on that, but they went to like basically get rid of the people that was in this town. And
Mm.
some of the people in Oscarville fled before anything happened, but the ones who didn't, they died there.
Okay,
Yeah,
died via the flood,
via the flood.
and
Yeah.
no one.
Or some of them were shot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And you know what? Just to talk about it, okay. I'm trying to put it into perspective. We're talking the 1950s, right? Literally like 70 years ago. That wasn't a long time ago. Put it
Hmm.
into perspective. If somebody was born in 1950, they're now 75 years old, or going to be 75 years old, right? That's not a long time.
All right.
And it's when I put these things into perspective, like the dates, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it was still happening, and certain things are still happening in certain places in the United States of America. So it's horrible, but you know, I did hear about Lake Lanier and it being haunted, and um, people not wanting to go there to swim or anything like that. A 36-year-old woman. Because so many things happened during that time, So I did hear about it. It's sad that he lost his life, and like you said, our prayers and thoughts go out to his family, and hopefully no one else loses their life in there, because that lake has some dark aspects, from what I understand. So yeah.
To be honest with you, the young lady who almost lost her life, she actually was saved when it happened in her 20s, and I believe now she's in her 50s.
Okay.
I want to say, if not 50s, 60s. She said it felt like someone was literally pulling her down. She said it felt like she said when she opened her eyes, you can see the trees, the power lines, everything underneath the water.
Insane.
Yeah, and she said, but it was just weird. She said she doesn't know how she came up. She doesn't remember all that. The only thing she remembers is when she was under and then waking up, here. She said that no one should be on Lake Lanier celebrating anything. You should go there and rejoice the lives that basically was lost there, and just she goes there. She said she goes every year and she sings into the water, and she was like, but there should be no partying because of what actually took place.
Right. We know, but the palm colored folks, sometimes they don't believe until it's time for them to believe, we know that there's certain things. For me, it's a final resting place for some people.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be disturbed.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like going to a graveyard. Do not disturb them kind folks in there. Some of them ain't that kind, but don't disturb them. Respect them, and just move forward. Like, it's crazy. But she's right. From what I hear, like, no one should be going to the party or do anything. So, but again, our thoughts and prayers go out to that 27-year-old young man who lost his life, and hopefully he is a lesson to those who want to do the same thing. Just don't.
And also to any other families who lost their lives, who lost someone there at Lake Lanier, because there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people lost their lives at Lake Lanier.
And it's crazy because people still go, and it's like, what are y'all not getting? And maybe because people think it's a folklore, right? It's something that is like, how they say urban legend, right?
You know why? Because people actually say, oh, the reason why people are losing their life because they jump in the water and they can't swim. They don't have on floaties. Well, how about the people that actually do know how to swim? What about those people?
Yeah.
What about those? There was a elderly man and his wife went out to go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Something pulled him. She said he was just sitting there fishing. Something pulled him into the water, and she never saw her husband again.
Insane.
I believe that was either last year or the year before that when that happened. I wrote so many stories about Lake Lanier.
Yeah.
To the point where my daughter came to school in Georgia. I said, do not go to Lake Lanier. Do not go to Lake Lanier. I don't care what anybody says. Do not go to Lake Lanier.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't play around with the deceased. No. When people tell me certain things, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to try it. Like, even if I don't believe, or I may have some suspicions, or may have some reservations about it, I'm not going to be the one that's going to be made a example. No.
Exactly.
Let me
just give them the respect and let them rest in peace.
Yes. Let me respect you, calm folk, and move on about my business. So say my little, like she said, she goes there, she sings. Let me say my little prayer, little sing, little song, little Negro spiritual something. And
that's what she's saying too.
Look, and keep it pushing. I don't play. I don't play with that. But yeah. So again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the young man who lost his life, and his family, and anybody else who has lost their lives at Lake Lanier. Another tragic loss to a community. A young girl went to Miami sometime in March, and she got a BBL, and then ended up going to like a aftercare recovery house or something like that, and she passed away due to the
That's
care
sad.
that she received. So I just want to put it out there. It really wasn't the procedure that she got; it was the aftercare that
Right.
she received that um, really killed her. And I think her name was like Amanique Miller or something like
Mhm.
that. Pretty girl. She had a 1 year old child, right? She's 28 years old, and now she's not there.
And
Like,
it's so sad because I don't understand why these women feel the need to have to get the BBLs. And I'm not shaming anyone who decides that this is what they want, because to each his own. But to the point where she got it, and then she was sent to a recovery site that wasn't, the person wasn't even licensed who prescribed her the medicine, right?
yeah, she was unlicensed. But she wasn't sent there. Like when you go get your okay, so for what I understand, it's like when you get your BBLs in Miami, there's certain people that work with certain like recovery houses. This is something that she sought out, and she went to the
Oh,
recovery house. Like the people didn't send her there. She
that's
sought that out,
horrible.
and she went there, and it ended up being somebody who was unlicensed. They were unlicensed to give medication, so it seems like they gave her a cocktail mixture of pain relievers as well as something else that wasn't even what she was supposed to be prescribed. And from what I'm understanding, the cocktail, if you're not looked out, if you're not looked after with that, it can
Mhm.
cause you to die in your sleep. And that being
Mm,
the cause of death has now revealed that that's what happened. So it wasn't the
that's
surgery,
horrible.
yeah, it wasn't the surgery itself that caused it, but it was the medicine that she received afterwards. The cocktail of I think it's true on
But
Percocet
in this case,
in this case. Yeah.
yeah.
What I do know is like BBLs are very, very risky surgery.
Hmm.
I, for one, I did not get a BBL. I had gone for an abdominoplasty, which is basically a tummy tuck. And I got that because I had diastasis recti in my belly after having my kids. So I ended up going to get that corrected. And my doctor was like, hey, listen, BBLs, he asked me if I wanted a fat transfer. And I was like, no, first of all, I got enough butt. I don't need nothing else going back there. I'm good. I said, I just want my stomach corrected. And that's
Hmm.
exactly what he did. But he did tell me that there the BBL is the most risky surgery, mainly because they're taking fat from one place and putting it into your butt, right?
Hmm.
And that fat normally doesn't grow there, so it needs to be dissolved. It actually needs to actually graft to that area, and that's
Mm.
where the risks come in. One thing I did do though is I sought out a doctor who was um, was attached to a hospital. So my aftercare was actually in a hospital. I had RNs looking after me after my surgery. And it costs a lot more money, yes, but I'd rather pay 6,000 more and get the care that I need
Right.
instead of paying. You see these advertisements with BBL 3,500, 4,500. What does that entail? Does that entail
Right.
the aftercare? Because we don't know how people are going to respond to these surgeries. So I urge everyone, like if you're going to do these things, make sure you go to a reputable doctor. Make sure that the aftercare is top notch. If they can do an aftercare in a hospital, not like a med spa or nothing like that.
Hmm.
In hospital, do something where it can actually be okay for you, and you can be, you'll be all right in the end, because it's important. Like this was a recovery house, and the person that was administering medication did not even have a license to do so. It's like what? So
You
now I'm
hope they
like,
got arrested for that because that's illegal.
and there's so many of them out there, and like in the article that I read, it said that she didn't even like she took medicine from an unlabeled pill bottle. How do you know what you're giving this person? You
That's
understand?
crazy.
So it's like, uh, and there's so many recovery houses like that because it's big business.
Right.
Big business. You can make between $1,000 to $5,000 in a recovery house per patient, depending upon what you want to charge. So it's like, ma'am, if you're gonna pay another $2,000 to $3,000 for a recovery house on top of your $4,000 for BBL, just go to a reputable doctor and get everything in one.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree.
so I mean, it's important because that means that could potentially be the difference between life
Life and
and death,
death.
right?
She would have
So
been home with her baby.
she would have been home with her. What was the child? 1 year. 1 year.
1 years old.
So sad. So sad. Dominique Miller. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her family as well. And hopefully they get justice in this. Has nothing to do with the actual surgery. That wasn't it. It was the the recovery house, and um, I think
Well,
that.
what could she possibly do? So that's a little tricky because if you think about it, if she's the one that sort this place out,
Yeah.
like she wanted to go there, she paid for the place.
Yes, yes, yes.
I wonder if they let them know, okay, certain people are not, they don't have the qualifications to do certain things. Do you still want to be here? Like, did she sign on the dotted line, knowing, I know everyone doesn't read the fine print, but you should always read the fine print.
The
Okay.
crazy part is the recovery house, and this is what I saw in the news. It was called Kayla's Recovery House or something. The person that gave her the medicine was the owner. Yes. So I was like, wait a minute. So it was the person that gave her the medicine that was the owner. Like, how, Sway?
So unless this is what I'm saying, there had to be some liability clause that needed to be signed for me to administer what I'm going to administer. If she didn't sign anything that said I am not responsible for anything that happens, you know, with your care during your care here at this recovery center, then yeah, I can see what a family can sue. But it's like she put herself there. So how do you sue something? How do you sue a company or a place if she's the one that took herself there? No one put her there.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky.
I mean, you got to do your due diligence, but I think
Right.
at the end of the day, though, it's like, okay, so what it says is that on March 5th, she traveled to Miami to undergo cosmetic surgery, right? She
Hmm.
died at an unlicensed surgical recovery house. So if somebody's advertising as a surgical recovery house, you would think that they have all their paperwork in order, right? But that's not the case here. She died of acute combined drug toxicity. That
Hmm.
means they gave her a cocktail of stuff
Yeah.
that she shouldn't have had after a surgery like that. Um, she had a Brazilian butt lift. Okay, let's see here.
But the crazy thing is, when we go into these establishments, their licenses are on the wall.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
Unless she was licensed once before and lost her license, and she was still practicing, then that's a lawsuit because that's false, advertisement. You're sitting up there saying you could do a job and you're not even licensed.
Yep.
But if
Yeah, it says according to a preliminary police investigation, the owner of the recovery house, Kayla Oliver, told investigators that she gave Miller 2 Percocet and that she did not have a license to practice medicine. And then she gave her an unknown number of muscle relaxers from her from Kiara's from the woman's prescription, and then 2 Percocets from an unlabeled pill bottle after her medication wasn't ready at the time. So
how do you give
you,
her how do you give her an unknown amount of muscle relaxers? I mean, I'm sure we all had muscle relaxers one time, in our injury careers, and it tells you not to take a certain amount within a certain amount of time. So make it make sense.
Percocets, muscle relaxer, and then a combination of oxycodone and bromozolam, which is which the combined use of the two drugs impacts breathing and increases death during sleep. And that's why you go to a licensed place. That's why you do your due diligence. And with it, everything, hindsight is 2020 in this particular case. But for anybody that's trying to go get any type of cosmetic surgery or any surgery, period, make sure that you are going to a place that's reputable. Make sure that the place that you're going to recover in is licensed, and they have RNs, real people, real machines on hand that will be able to assist you with saving your life if an emergency occurred, And in this case, like, they didn't check on her. She got there at 1 p.m. She was still asleep by 9:30. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
So ain't no way. When I did my tummy tuck, they checked on me every single hour. Every hour on the hour in the hospital. So it's like, just pay the extra money. Like, pay. Just I know you may not have it, but there's financing, there's all types of stuff that will be able to assist you with getting a procedure done in a reputable place. Just pay the money.
Right. If you don't have the money, listen, wait until you have the money to do everything.
Exactly. Because now somebody has to pay money to bury you.
Yeah. Your life depends on it.
Your life depends on it. So, yeah. Oh gosh. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to her family. Anybody else, if you're thinking about doing any type of cosmetic surgery, make sure it's at a reputable place. Make sure that the people who are providing you with care afterwards are licensed. They have the knowledge that they need to have in order to be able to assist you if an emergency occurs. So, all right. So, the last and final story we're gonna talk about
this one is funny. This one is hilarious. So there's a young lady in the state of Texas who have been arrested because she married her ex without his knowledge.
Yo, insane. Insane. And I'm glad they caught her, because that's some BS, okay? But you know how many people marry in other people's names out here? It's more common than you think. And that's why there is specific laws in regards to it, because people are crazy. Like, Nicole, you could take the story, but from what I understand, like, she was with her ex and they broke up after getting the marriage license, right? What's going on?
So they retrieved the marriage license, and then shortly after getting the marriage license, they broke up. And the crazy thing is, she pulled out a marriage license, and that's how he found out that they were legally married. And what do they have her as? They convicted her with, they charging her with revenge to perform marriage ceremony, filed marriage license at county clerk's office, and she's in custody on 3rd degree felony. What is it? Stalking charges.
Yeah, because, like, who does that?
I didn't even know that existed.
You got to be really just not there to one. Convince a reverend to perform a marriage ceremony. Okay, I need this to be unpacked, because
I'm about to say, because I'm like, because you about to say now, what?
Who stood in his place? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did this go? Like, I need to understand. I need more information about this.
I can't say. I don't believe that a actual reverend would have sat there and performed a ceremony for someone who wasn't there, right? So the only thing we're sitting here trying to pack it out, trying to see, like, what took place. Did she put someone in his position, in his place, and made it seem like he was her ex? That's one scenario, right? Another scenario, someone must have, got ordained online and just signed.
Only take 30 minutes.
And then she went to go file it. So, because there is no way. I'm like, how does this man get married to a woman that he's no longer with? but then finds out I'm legally married to her.
And
all we did was get a marriage license.
And people do that, right? Like I've seen, I've heard of people checking obituaries.
Yeah.
Or people who maybe have recently passed away, doctor up information, and then go ahead and just do fraudulent things in their name. I've seen that because it does take some time for states to actually do an audit and find it. And sometimes it just, slips through the cracks. But I need to know the motive. Like, you did this for what?
Listen,
was it for money? Like, what we talking?
She said, I had to fight every day to prove my love. Okay?
I can't. What? What? That's insane. That is insane.
Think about it. She probably said all the years that she's ever been with this man, oh no, I'm going to have his last name. Something.
No.
I don't know.
No.
That's weird.
You have to be really mental to do something like that. Like we talk about, having people letting go. We just had a show about, like, if the person want to go, let them go.
Let them go.
We said, nah, you ain't going anywhere, and you're gonna be married to me. You're gonna be stuck to me, and I'm gonna collect your Social Security. Okay? Like, yeah.
While they're still around.
And like, what? How was she? Did she think that she wouldn't get caught? Like, what was that? Like, I just need to know more. But I'm glad that they caught her. He caught her, right? The man caught her.
He caught her, yeah.
Okay, the man. Okay, so that's a good thing. He caught her. Now she's in custody for third-degree felony stalking, because that is literally a stalker. For you to go through great lengths to take something and marry me, and I'm not there, you're a whole stalker. Okay?
He should have took that marriage license back himself. That's what he should have done.
Oh my God. So wait, basically he gave her the marriage license to take back, or like
no. I think it's just the fact that, so what people don't know is when you get a marriage license, if you do not follow through with a wedding, you should take the marriage license back. Mm-hmm. I've taken back all 3 of mine. Mm-hmm. Myself. It was 3 with the same person, just so you know, but I took them all back because that's a legal document right there. So if you do not get married, you're supposed to take it back.
Listen, that's the thing. Well, just to put it out there, Shaquana Terry is not married to anyone, okay? Shaquana Terry's husband has passed away, okay? And she should not be on paper married to anyone legally. She should not be. Nicole Jones, actually, Jennifer Jones should not be.
Ooh, she went to the government.
She should not be on anyone's marriage certificate or in anybody's marriage license, okay? Because she is not married. I think that, if y'all see something out there, let us know. Call in the show. The Real Convos podcast at gmail.com, okay? Let us know. Email us, sister, okay? Let us know what's going on out there. Because obviously, there are people like this woman who would do something like that and think that they can get away with it. That's insane. Oh gosh, but that was a good laugh, Nicole.
That was a great one. We would like to thank every last one of you guys for joining us here tonight. This was an amazing show. That was a great show. A great way of ending the show. Okay, because that one was she is losing her rabbit behind mine. Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't thinking, and you know what? But it lands her ass in jail. From what I understand, you can get up to 3 years for that, as well as a fine. So hopefully she does time.
And there's a felony. Just so y'all know, felonies, they stay with you forever. So we don't want those on our records.
Yeah, but you can still get hired by UPS.
UPS?
There's a couple of companies that will take you if you have a felony. Yeah. Depends on
listen, we're not saying that if you have a felony, you shouldn't be able to live, but just be mindful that you don't want to sit there and get scrutinized by, certain places. So just do the right thing and If somebody doesn't want you in their life, just go the opposite way.
Yes. Imagine having to tell somebody I went to jail because I married somebody without their knowledge. Man, are you gonna say? Yeah, you are. Needs to be in a mental
Oh, child. Yeah, that part. Yes,
anyway,
yes, that part.
we love you. We love you all. We thank you again for tuning in with us here at Real Conversations on Real Conversation. Again, I am your host, Shaquana Terry, and
I am Nicole Jones.
all right, and you can definitely catch us here on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube at real_convos_podcast. And Nicole, tell them where else they can find us.
You can find us at Real Conversations or Real Conversations 2021 on Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram and on TikTok. And every Thursday at 8 p.m. here on YouTube.
We have started to premiere our videos live on Facebook as well. So if you don't see us if you can't get us on YouTube, you can catch us on Facebook as well. We have started premiere live there as well. So you can follow us. I'm on Facebook at, where am I at? At Quantitary. Nicole's at Nicole Jones, and of course Real Conversation 2021 or Real Conversation, whichever one. Once you see the logo, you'll know that it's us. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Beauty from Queens, because I am from Queens, New York all day. That's where Eddie Murphy went to find a wife, so you already know we good. Anyway, so where can they find you on Instagram?
And I am Nikki_Nikki18 on Instagram.
Yes. So we thank you all for tuning in with us. We love you all, and God bless.